You know that anxiety of wanting your plant to grow fast or bloom as soon as possible? That's exactly where the danger lies. Many people make a silent mistake: overcare. There's a huge myth in gardening that if a little fertilizer is good, more must be even better. But the truth is harsh. Excess nutrients can be just as lethal as a deficiency. It acts like a poison, burning the roots from the inside out. It's very common, and I see this all the time, for people to lose beloved plants right after trying to strengthen them. They don't realize that plant nutrition is a delicate balance, very similar to our own diet. In today's video, I'm going to expose the most fatal mistakes that almost everyone makes when fertilizing. And most importantly, I'll teach you how to identify the distress signals your plant sends before it's too late. But first, tell me something in the comments. Have you ever loved a plant to death by adding too much fertilizer? And which city are you watching from today to save your plants? Comment down below. If you want to stop wasting money on the wrong fertilizers and see real vigor in your plants, go ahead and leave your like and subscribe. Today's tips are going to save many green lives out there. 1. Fertilizing a dry plant. This is one of the most dangerous mistakes, and many people do it without realizing it. You know that day when you look at the pot, the soil is dry, completely parched, and you think, since it's thirsty, I'll give it a boost with fertilizer? Don't do it. When a plant is thirsty, the roots are desperate for moisture. If you apply liquid or granular fertilizer at that moment, the plant absorbs everything at once, but with a mineral salt concentration that's far too high. The result? Immediate chemical burn on the most sensitive roots. You know those leaves with brown edges that look sunburned even though they weren't in direct sun? Or when the plant wilts right after being fed? That's exactly what's happening. The secret of people who have magazine cover plants is simple. Always water one day before, or at least shortly before, fertilizing. You need to make sure the roots are hydrated and ready to process nutrients safely and in a diluted form. It's a small step, but it's what separates those who lose cuttings from those who have a jungle at home. Now tell me, have you ever noticed brown edges on your plants after fertilizing? What kind of fertilizer do you usually use at home? Comment below so I can know. Mistake number 2. The dark side of nitrogen. Nitrogen is the fuel that makes leaves grow, but it has a dark side that can ruin your garden. If you overload a plant that's supposed to bloom with too much nitrogen, it goes into a state of comfort and simply forgets to flower. It will focus only on producing giant green leaves and ignore the blooms. But it doesn't stop there. You know that plant that looks beautiful but is always full of aphids and mealybugs? Well, plants overfed with nitrogen develop soft, succulent tissues. For pests, that's a real feast. It's as if your plant becomes overweight and loses its natural defenses. The secret here is balancing the famous NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. For each phase, whether it's growth, flowering, or fruiting, there's an ideal proportion. Don't treat all your plants with the same set menu. If you want flowers, you need one type of nutrient. If you want foliage, it's another. By the way, do you usually check the NPK numbers on the label, or do you grab the first one you see? Tell me below what your favorite fertilizer is. Mistake number 3. The fatal pampering error. When we see a plant looking sad with drooping leaves, or right after repotting it, our first reaction is, I'll give it some vitamins so it can recover. Well, that's a fatal mistake. A sick or newly transplanted plant is under massive stress. Its roots aren't operating at full capacity. Fertilizing at this moment is like forcing someone with a high fever to eat a heavy meal. The body simply doesn't have the energy to process it. Instead of helping, you end up overloading the plant's system. If your plant just arrived from the nursery or you've just repotted it, wait at least a month. It needs time to stabilize in the new environment. And if it has pests, treat the problem first. Understand this: fertilizer is meant to enhance health, not cure serious problems. First you heal the plant, then you feed it. Tell me, have you ever lost a plant right after repotting or trying to save it with fertilizer? I want to know if this has happened to you. 4. Ignoring the dormancy period. Plants don't grow at the same speed all year round. In winter, or during very cold periods, many species enter dormancy, reducing their metabolism to a minimum to conserve energy. If you continue fertilizing at the same frequency as in summer, the nutrients won't be absorbed and will accumulate in the soil, making it toxic or saline. It's essential to respect nature's rhythm. During colder months, reduce or suspend fertilization for species that are not actively growing. Learning to read your plant's rhythm is what separates a casual collector from a true gardening master. 5. Using raw, homemade fertilizer in the pot. It's trendy to place banana peels, coffee grounds, and eggshells directly on top of the potting soil. While the intention is good, this is a mistake in small indoor spaces. These materials need to decompose to release nutrients, and that process consumes oxygen and attracts fungi, ants, and drain flies into your home. Additionally, the initial decomposition can generate heat and temporarily steal nitrogen from the soil, harming the plant instead of helping it. If you want to use organic waste, compost it first, or use already processed and dried organic products. The potting soil should be a clean and balanced environment, not a pile of decomposing organic waste. 6. Getting the dose wrong, the famous eyeballing it. The instructions on the back of fertilizer packages are not there for decoration. Overdosing is much easier than it seems, especially in small pots where the soil volume is limited. The buildup of mineral salts can alter the soil's pH, making it so acidic or alkaline that the plant stops absorbing water, even if you keep watering it. If the recommendation is 1 teaspoon, don't use a tablespoon thinking you'll speed things up. In gardening, less is almost always more. If you're unsure, always use half of the manufacturer's recommended dose. It's far easier to correct a mild deficiency than to reverse a chemical overdose. Keeping a plant well-nourished is an act of constant observation. As we've seen today, fertilizing isn't a mechanical task, but a support practice that must respect the timing and condition of each species. Avoiding these fatal mistakes will save you not only money and time, but also the frustration of watching a beloved plant decline for no apparent reason. Remember, the best fertilizer is the owner's shadow. In other words, your daily attention to the small signals your plant sends. If the leaves are changing color or the plant has stopped growing before rushing to fertilizer, check the soil, the light, and the watering. With these tips, your plants will be ready to grow strong and healthy. And now tell me in the comments, have you made any of these mistakes? Have you tried to save a plant with fertilizer and ended up making things worse? Share your story so others can learn too. If this guide was helpful, leave a like and share it with that friend who's just starting their urban jungle. And don't miss our next video, where I'll show you which homemade fertilizers really work and how to prepare them the right way without attracting insects. See you next time.